Anchor Institution is a nonprofit or public institution that's pretty permanent in a place. It's not going to decide one day that, business is better 3,000 miles away and just up and leave, because it depends on serving the clients in that place. And is large enough to have a substantial effect on the local and regional economy. So the numbers of people that it hires, the amount of money that it spends in its purchasing, the land that it has, that it develops in different ways, all these ways that it kind of anchors a local and regional economy.
It's important for me to organize around this because not a lot of people still know that this Berkeley Global Campus is coming. It's always been something that's kind of a rumor. I've kind of heard about it, or even still, no, I have not heard about this campus. And the only reason we were able to get as far as we have and to bring in UC to the table to work with us on getting a community benefits agreement around housing, jobs, education, and small businesses is because people came together and put pressure on them and said, look, if you're coming here, that's great, but you need to benefit the community.
Right now, our students are performing at such low levels, we don't expect them to be leaders. The system is designed for them to fail. So with an anchor institution like Berkeley coming to Richmond, if it connects with the school system and began to pour their resources into the system, I think that we can begin to build a whole new class of leaders from starting with our youth. And it's a 40-year project. So with it being a 40-year project, just imagine how many leaders that could be built.
I mean, just over the last couple of years of watching different communities across the Bay Area, I just really think the most prevalent negative impact is displacement, which is really just a kind word for gentrification. Is that because of like the new business and the new climate and new populations coming in to work with different anchor institutions, it pushes the most vulnerable, at-risk, and low-income populations out of those communities. And into communities with less upward mobility, less economic opportunities.
I think an anchor institution campaign can build movement by giving residents a platform and a venue to actually channel the kind of needs and priorities within the community. Oftentimes issues are kind of siloed. You have issues of like criminal justice, policing, health, food, and an anchor institution like UC Berkeley is one that kind of encompasses all these different issues in many ways. By this development, you can see people from labor coming together with people from education, from local city government, from housing rights organizations. So it's really a interesting way that these different stakeholders can come together and build around issues and shared visions and goals that they see as kind of the baseline for their collective community needs and kind of goals in Richmond here.
I do think that this movement has contributed to leadership development. I also think that it has given community members a sense of stakeholdership And also just being able to draw people in and get folks more informed around policies, around like community benefits agreements, and what do those mean, and what could the possible wins be for the community, because it prepares people for to like stand in solidarity, not just against like the Berkeley Global Campus, but any other anchor institution that tries to set up shop in Richmond. It'll equip community members to be ready to tackle that and organize around it.
I think there's a really important opportunity in working on anchor institutions to change people's understanding of the relationship between government and the economy. So we've been told over and over again that shrinking government is good for economic growth, and that's just empirically false and misleading. But in the local area, when you start to look at anchor institutions and you see how many people they hire, that they're often, most of the employers in the top 10 employers are anchor institutions. That means the wages that they pay ripple out into the economy also and set standards for other employers. The amount of land they have, the purchasing they do, has a huge effect on the economy. And so when you start to see that, then you understand that like how we build that public sphere and how we shape those anchor institutions very much influences economic opportunity, equality, and just the type of economy that we have.